That is a
No,
really good amped intro.
I know. And
Welcome
I was
everybody
watching the
to
number on top.
yes,
It's like live. It's like,
Pitch It 2026. I am here with Juan. Juan, how
hello.
are you doing?
I am doing good. As you can tell, I'm not at the office. I'm actually at Vincennes University. So I'm over here hanging out their little lunch area.
Yeah, what are you doing over there?
We had a managers meeting. We had
Oh,
our
okay.
planning meeting. So just got out just in time, and I don't know why they schedule meetings like this during World Cup, but that's a
I don't
topic
know,
for different
right? There's the
conversation.
whole Argentina thing. It's a whole other conversation. Well, I
Yes,
happen to be at my construction site up here in Evergreen. We got ICF block there, like 500 of them, like that go that way. Got my floor trusses over here. There's a lot of action going on today, but you know what? There's a lot of action happening in the MSP marketplace, and I want to talk about Central Mafia for a little bit and just get to know what Central Mafia is all about because we're here as part of Pitch It. But I just, Juan, you get to join me for the past 2 weeks while Sean is out
yes,
traveling and taking pictures of castles and drinking beer and all that stuff.
and sending us
So
all those pictures to see how
it's
much fun he's
exactly.
having.
It's
Hey,
just taunting us from where I don't know where he's Belgium. I don't know where he's at.
well, this is
So
our opportunity to raise the bar, and then so when he
exactly
comes
right.
back.
Bring some professionalism to this particular series for sure. So Central Mafia, what's all Central Mafia about?
Central Mafia, we are an MSP community. So we are led by MSPs and we're also built for MSPs. What that means is all the things that we do it for the purpose of enhancing all of our community members. We are not vendor driven. We use these opportunities with our vendor sponsors to bring in as they're experts in their area and in order to educate MSPs. So our goal is to bring MSPs together through education.
Yep. Built for MSPs by MSPs, so it's fantastic, completely free to show. I just would across the bottom scrolling the website Central Mafia UG,
Yep.
and there's
We
actually
have
two events.
two. Yeah, we have two events coming up. The first one's going to be September 17th over in Burr Ridge, close to the Chicago area. We're going to have a pre-day the night before, so for some networking, break the ice, meet some friends, talk to all the sponsors, and then the next day on the 17th, it's a whole day packed with all education, and we wrap it up, in a fun way. And then the second
Nice,
one is on October 8th, and that's when we head up to Anaheim. Same format. Pre-day, the day before, we're having some talks about maybe going to Disney, some activities close by.
ooh,
So yeah, we're trying to finalize all that fun stuff for the pre-day or for the day after. I mean, we want to squeeze that in,
yeah,
and
for sure.
then yeah, and then also the next day. It's all packed with information, and like you said, it is free for MSPs to attend. So any MSP out there that will be interested in joining us during those meetups or during our live streams that we have throughout the year,
Yep,
just go to centralmafiaug.com, register for one of our events, or just send us an email and we'll put you on the list.
pretty sweet. Thank you for that. And so we're here for Pitch It. And if you've been buried under a rock for the past 5 years and you've missed Sean and I doing this on a weekly episode, Pitch It is all about a Shark Tank like competition for vendors, usually 20 to 26 vendors in the space. They're just launching their product or they've launched and just are getting 16 weeks of education, training for go to market, launching, all sorts of things. So Pitch It's a really cool program. There's a 5-minute pitch you have to do, and then the top 3 of those finalists get to actually do it from stage at IT Nation Connect 2026 in Orlando. And so today we have my good buddy and yours, I imagine, Juan. Callen, how you doing, man?
Great. How about yourselves?
Doing fantastic.
How you
Good to
doing?
have you on here.
Thank you. I'm always excited to be here. It was actually the 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 first user group I went to years and years ago. So it's pretty cool to have the PitchIT tied to this.
Nice, nice. And I just want to give game time update because Argentina just beat. I don't even know who they were playing. I was watching Argentina.
Egypt. Yeah.
So yeah, at least we get to root for one team in this. It's definitely not going to be Mexico or U.S.
Perfect. I can focus now on this call.
I know, right? Sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Callen.
No, I mean we need to. It's when we back in the day when I was at ConnectWise, it was I think the 2016 World Cup. We had it on every single internal monitor.
Oh wow.
David Bellini was not always happy about those things, but he loves soccer, and so we actually got that one by the Bellini brothers.
Very nice, very nice. So, Callen, tell us a little bit about Synthreo. What do you guys do? Your background story, and you've been in the space a long time. We should have you and John Harden on. So
that's he and I have some fun conversations for sure. Yeah. So my background, I actually started about 2008 working with anybody that could be classified as an MSP, and frankly forgot about outsourced IT for a couple of years from 2008 on, partially because there was a little thing that happened at the end of 2008 and into 2009 that took my eye off of anything that wasn't going back to school. But in 2012, I ended up reconnecting as one of the earlier employees of ConnectWise. And so I've been dedicated to this industry for about 18, 17 years with a couple different things, but largely focused over the last 15 years on strategy, cyber, DevSecOps automation, AI, obviously, and data. In the last 5 years, it's been AI. AI has been my lifeblood and my passion. I actually founded the PitchIT program in 2013, and when I left ConnectWise, not 2013, 2018, and when I left ConnectWise, I left to go to the initial winner. But I have yet to win myself. But that really was what got me down the road of AI automation, and that because it was a company that was later acquired by Sophos. And so my background, I live out in Colorado like you, Adam, not too far away, and got a couple kiddos, and I have recently discovered river tubing. Adam, if you haven't done that yet, we gotta do it because it is
Golden.
It's the best. Golden. Yeah, Golden. We just went to Golden. We actually discovered it last year, but we just went to Golden last weekend. So
nice.
It's a lot of fun. As far as Synthreo goes, so we are MSP and their customers' AI department, right? We've got a platform for MSPs to govern and help their SMBs consume AI, whether that's a secure chat workplace in an agnostic way, whether that's an agent, autonomous or otherwise. And then we have an agentic engine called Wingtip that's similar to Microsoft Scout or Claude Cowork, paired with a set of services. So if you need go-to-market services, if you need billing services, support services, if you need help building the agents, we're your partner out of the box. If you have someone that's asking about AI, which most MSPs do, like that's day one. We're your day one IT AI department for you, from go-to-market to support, all the way through.
Yeah. Awesome. So I love hearing your story around the PitchIT starting in 2018, and I knew you were back then. I was going to bring that up as a question. I'm just curious, feedback around how you've seen that evolve and what you see today. And I'm sure you're experiencing all the different coaches over the 16 weeks. I'm just curious of what your thoughts are around that. What has changed for Synthreo in that process?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. When we first started PitchIT, we had a very short window. The founder of ConnectWise, Arnie Bellini, was upset that Matt Nachtraub had done a Shark Tank type thing at what back then was Automation Nation or IT Nation Explore, and so we had to quickly get a pitch competition going at ours. But the focus wasn't actually driving innovation in vendors back then. The focus was actually trying to drive MSPs to pick up a new business line. We had something called the Solutions Catalog. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Adam, you the Sierra Pacific days, I think you helped quite a few people on the Solutions Catalog side of things. And so it was to drive new revenue lines of business. So funny enough, that to me is the passion around where Synthreo is, right? I have a belief, and it's a little bit contrarian, that if MSPs do not become the arbiters and the deliverers of AI as a service, as another leg, this industry is going to be in trouble. And I think it is. And the other belief that I have is there's an immense amount of value that MSPs can provide their customers by owning this and delivering this. And it's a distinct, separate service offering, and it's a high margin service offering. It's not what we've seen over the last 6 or 7 years with, getting 8 to 10 to 20 basis points. It's actually 50, 200% margins, and partners want to pay it. So for me, watching PitchIT evolve into something that helps people achieve innovation in the channel and supports founders to help MSPs build out their service offerings has been really awesome. I think, the influence you've had on it, Sean has driven it when he took it over from Raza into something that was truly integrated into the entire ConnectWise kind of mechanism and actually embraced, has been phenomenal. It's why I've come back, right? It's something where I think that there's an immense amount of value. And from somebody who's, I've seen it in our cohort, right? Somebody that's just starting to someone like me that's a little further down the path. We have funded people in here. We have people that are profitable, and we've got people that are just have kind of an idea and they're going. And that's hard. That's a hard thing to offer founders. So I enjoy all the sessions that we get to hear from the perspective of the others. The one in particular, Lisa Mitchell and Scott Scrogan coming in and talking about modes was just phenomenal.
Awesome. I'm sure it's a story.
That's a great feedback. I don't think I ever knew the whole story of PitchIT, how it actually started, like from Solutions Catalog into what it is right now. And I think it also shows the commitment of the ConnectWise team into trying to into bringing quality vendors into the space. That not only they're been vetted before that, but they go through this whole process. Throughout the whole PitchIT experience, right, to bring him into the floor, into IT Nation, not only to the stage, but also to the solutionability of the floor,
Absolutely.
to explore. So it's a great transition there.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that transition, because I think the AI is forcing a lot of this transition, and I think that, like you, Callen, I just think that if the MSPs are not embracing it and being the arbiters of AI, I think it's going to dying industry. We're already seeing, tier 1 being decimated, right? It's completely agentic, those type of things. So let's talk about that evolution, because I've only been involved in PitchIT for 5 years. When Sean's like, hey, can we do this thing? I want to brand it. I want to do this thing. Can you help, promote it? And I was like, I'm game. I love talking, bantering, enjoying, joking, laughing. There's just, it's fun. So with the AI, what are your thoughts just generally, like this, you had, 2022 came out?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Roughly?
November 17th or 21st, depending on where you were on the list. ChatGPT hit. Three was out in March. Actually, shout out to a PitchIT winner. The guy that really got me down the AI path is Mark Alayev from Threat. And Mark was experimenting with ChatGPT 3 and prior for a very long time. And he kept pulling me in, showing like, hey, look, I've got all this data across all the chat platforms. I see what people are doing and their processes, and look at the things we can do with it. And it's really been cool watching that. So I was fortunate enough to get kind of an early view while I was still focusing on the execution of automation. But in the 4 years since it's been generally commercial and consumer available, what we've seen is, and wisely, The MSP market, I'm going to say something else, maybe a little controversial, but that tends to be my way, is I think that MSP as an industry lost the cloud migration. I know 365 put us on the map. It put us embedded in ways from a recurring revenue that we never would have had. But Arlen Sorensen in 2014 was saying that if we don't continue to own the infrastructure, we are going to lose our ability to pick the margins that we deliver value at. And what happened? 365 came along. Microsoft would not have had the success that it had without the MSP market, but they dictated the value because they took over the infrastructure. Infrastructure in the hyperscalers, AWS, Oracle, Google, IBM, Microsoft, they all hit trillions in revenue flowing through. The MSP industry grew greatly, but it grew at a much smaller clip in margin. And we didn't really notice it, though, because of cybersecurity. 2016, 2017, 2018, the bad guys figured out RMM existed, and they figured out that we weren't really paying attention as vendors. And so we had to scramble to get things in place. Otherwise, every single MSP's RMM, look, we saw what happened with Kaseya, became a great enterprise-sized soft target. And so when 2012 or 2022 happened and AI hit the market and it was undefined, there was no governance, nobody knew what was going on, MSPs rightfully leaned into what had saved this industry when cloud shifted, cyber, and said, there's not enough info yet. Don't do it. Don't put it in your work streams. Keep your data out of it. Do all these things. And what happened was, for a little while, people listened, but then they got their personal ChatGPT account. Then they got their Gemini account, started messing with it. And then they started applying it first to emails, then to their files. And then really October of last year, Claude changed the game with its the way that it worked. And then February, scarily, of this year, Claude Code, has only been around for a year, but Claude Code really took off. And so what we've seen is the end customers, small enterprise, seeing the value before the technologists, and they've been trying to apply it for several years. Now they're getting to the point where it's touching critical systems. Now they're getting to the point where they can't figure out how to share it, govern it, run the infrastructure to use it. But the whole time we've been kind of in a wait and see and experiment, fix the help desk, make it go faster, all of these things. And honestly, that isn't what the customers need. That doesn't generate the revenue. Great. Exactly. Their ticket was answered in an automated way. Did you pick up the phone and tell them it's done? No. You went and, I was going to swear, sorry. I know that this isn't necessarily the swear place. You went and messed around on the, you went and fucked around on the next automation you wanted to work on instead of reached out and showed the value you gave the customer. And so all the while where they're automating their own stuff, they're just not doing it at scale or securely. And so for me, that's really what that journey's looked like in an abbreviated way over the last 4 years.
From an NSC perspective, I totally agree with what you just said. Because we've seen with our customers coming over to us and asking us, what is our plan? How can we support them? And we're trying to figure out, and the answer is not Copilot, right? Some people might think it's like, well, just give me a Copilot license. So one of the things that you mentioned during our conversation, this is now when we're in the green room, is that you have one of the guys' solutions that help the partners with a go-to-market strategy, which I think is probably one of the things that a lot of MSPs will struggle when trying to bring this totally new approach to their clients and how they're actually going to, get that solution. So can you elaborate a little bit more on that, and what was the thought about it and you guys' approach?
Yeah, no, that is I actually, it's funny because, Adam, you mentioned John Harden, and John and I are incredibly aligned in so many areas, and even in the areas where we're not aligned, I think we have agreements, and that's what Lemhi does, right? Lemhi helps MSPs say that the hyperscalers won, and I agree with that the hyperscalers are going to. In fact, as better at personal productivity that Claude is, I think Microsoft, as much as Copilot sucks for the personal productivity piece, is actually solving the business infrastructure piece better. They're just not doing it at scale or in a delightful way or with governance and everything else. And so when I look at, say, like the Lemhi approach versus our approach, they're actually quite aligned. But our approach is essentially the assumption that your clients are using AI in their business already, because they are. Even if they're not using it officially, people are using shadow AI. It's existing. The next assumption we make, and it's more of a confirmation than assumption, is that they're going to hit the Claude wall. It's not just Claude, it's all LLM. Personal productivity only takes you so far. You look at every single meaningful study that's going on with AI right now, and it says that the personal productivity ROI does not touch the P&L. It doesn't exist. It's good. It gives you more capacity. You get a couple more quotes out, but it is not something that actually moves the needle from a P&L perspective. What does is installing that infrastructure in a way that's shareable across an organization, installing it in autonomous agents, building an ontology layer. Ontology is it's the what is reality is literally what the term means. But ontology is the data that an agent can pull from or look to, or an LLM can pull from or look to deliver good results. And so what we do is we make that first assumption, AI is being used. We make the second confirmation, it's hitting a wall, whether that wall is usage limits, whether that wall is sharing or governance or whatever it is, it's hitting that wall. And then we say, okay, now we need to get your data layer right. And we start having the conversations with the MSPs, sitting in the room with their customers and say, where are your pain points? What have you done? What's really cool that you did with Claude this week? Show it to me. Like actually show me what you did. And they're so excited to, because nobody's asked them those things. And so we sit there and, go through, 30, 40 calls side by side with the MSP, being the heavy, being the AI expert, because the average person on my team has about 3.5 years of experience working in AI, which is a dinosaur in this, in this day and age. And we walk through those conversations, helping them understand what questions to ask, helping them understand how to make their partners excited about IT through the consumption of pain relieving and solving. And we help direct them to their first couple wins. And so once they get those first couple wins, it just builds on itself. And so for us, the secure chat, the agnostic workspace, that's a delivery engine for the real value, which is installing the infrastructure of AI in the business. And that's where we typically shift to. So the first 30 days or so, we're on lots of calls with our partners. And then the next 60 days, we're actually working on delivering those outcomes. And at that point, I actually had a situation with one of our larger partners where I was on 37 calls in the first 17 days, 37 calls. And then they stopped calling me. And I kind of freaked out. I thought, I'm an early stage startup. I'm going to churn this partner. We haven't closed enough business. And when we got on the next call together, I was like, hey, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? It's like, oh, I don't need you anymore. I'll call you when I need you. It's like, it's that moment. So our goal is we're not ever going to abandon. We want your success, but we're going to get you to the point where you can fish, right? First, we're going to feed you, but then we're going to get you to the point where you can fish.
Yeah. And that's really, really powerful. And I think that, the whole journey, and I appreciate the kind of your philosophy and understanding those type of things. Because I think that if customers are using the AI a lot faster, solving their real problems to grow their business compared to what MSPs, because we're going to sit behind a keyboard and keyboard warrior it and show up on Reddit and comment here and there, right? And we just try to fix the wrong problem, right? I think that there's a big shift in this space that all the engineers and technicians are being forced to actually become business consultants. I think that's a big, massive shift, and stop hiding behind a keyboard and doing that stuff, because guess what? An AI agent, agentic agent, can start doing that stuff for you, right? Yes, you need a truck drive, and yes, I need, trusses to be installed, and concrete, that's definitely not going away yet in anytime soon. But if you go to a Tesla factory, you can see lines of robots doing stuff, right? And YouTube video, I was just watching that stuff. It's incredible what we're seeing. And so MSPs need to be in front of that. For sure, and be part of that, and understand the governance on that, because that's the skills that we need to bring on. Okay, people are using it, but it's not in the most secure way, right, and so forth. And that's really, really critical. But let's just talk about PitchIT here, and then we'll shift back to that conversation. Can you maybe share one personal lesson you've learned this particular year
in PitchIT? I know you've been around for a long time, but just what's one nugget that you've learned this year?
I think that for me, the number one thing that I've learned, and it's a lesson I keep learning, is it doesn't matter how cool or that you think the thing that you're doing is, even if it's cutting edge. Like, we're doing things that it was really interesting to see, like Claude, OpenAI, Roost, and others just talk about using temporal. Right, we've been using temporal for almost 8 months in on the back end. So it's like, hey, cool, we beat Claude, right? But that's really cool. But nobody cares unless you can articulate it in a succinct and easy way and make sure that they're getting value out of it. And I've known this lesson, but PitchIT has helped through almost every single session continue to drive that in again and again and again. And it's something that you almost need, that mantra of, you're not building this for you, you're building this for others. And PitchIT kind of reminds you of that. As I look at, this large cohort, dozens of people, dozens of people. And I see, like, every single one has a value that they're trying to provide. And getting through that noise requires being able to quickly point out the value that you're providing and confirming that value.
Keith, always love the commentary, Keith.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I always like to surround myself with smarter people than me. That's the room you need to be in. Want to be wealthy? Have everybody around you be wealthy. You right?
That's why I partnered with Vince. Vince exactly. This dude, like, he shipped 500 PRs over like an 11-day period. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's
wow.
insane.
Incredible. Well, I appreciate that journey and that learning and that understanding. So, what is one thing you're actually really looking forward to from Synthreo, the next release? What's the one thing you're working on right now?
Oh yeah. Well, there's oh man,
that you can talk about.
The surface area is too big right now. But wingtip is really the big thing right now. I love, and from the beginning, our vision was like a shadow agent that could work alongside of someone to solve problems, right? I think that there are really cool things. I've beat the hell out of Claude Cowork. I've played around with Scout, Hermes, all these other ones, but they fundamentally work in a way similar to workflow automation, and they don't really learn you, right? Why the hell does my agent, my personal assistant, not know who I am every time I pick up a conversation? And maybe with the recent release that just happened yesterday, maybe Claude is working through that. But for me, the most exciting thing is this idea of a persistent engagement with your own personal coworker, with your own personal assistant agent that has autonomy over first cloud applications and delivering you outputs, but then, as we go down the line, more and more control over your tech infrastructure and delivering that out. That to me I'm incredibly excited. And it's the same experience, whether it's mobile, whether it's in the cloud, or whether it's on your desktop. That to me is going to be the difference. I think it's going to be an equalizer too for MSPs and their customers, because I'm not super strong feeling about one way or another when it comes to things like spiritual beliefs, but it feels like we're able to give David the slingshot, to go after Goliath when we deliver stuff like this, focused on the SMB space.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm curious, Callen, on all the things that you guys are doing, because you're giving the MSP the tools to talk to their clients and bring solutions into their clients. If I'm an MSP and I would have a conversation with one of my customers, what will be a typical success story that I can go over? And it's like, these are the kind of things that you can achieve by using this platform.
I think
good story.
There's a philosophy around productization and go-to-market. You may have seen like the milkshake video like what's the jobs to be done video,
Yep.
but it's the McDonald's milkshake video. An offshoot to that is something called the value proposition canvas. The value proposition canvas talks about pains and gains. And so in order to deliver real value to your end customer, you truly have to understand their business in some way, shape, or form. And so for me, most of the meaningful conversations get into one defined area, often either HR, people, bookkeeping, or the financial side, because these are repeatable processes that are largely chore work. And we come in and we look at when something has to be generated that's consistent, which AI is not good at consistent generation, by the way, because it's generative and it's a predictive analysis algorithm at the end of the day. It's trying to guess what token is next based on the context that it has in the training. So it's not good at that, but the wins actually come from having a story where someone's experiencing some sort of pain and they've already applied a salve, a technical salve, or a human salve to this process. And then we go through and we iterate on like, okay, so for example, I'll give you a good example. There's a company that processes like in claims for insurance companies from like oil disasters, ecological disasters, and that. When this company does that, it requires the reading of all of the case notes, everything else. It's a lot by hand and everything. This end customer was brilliant. Like they built a way of reading that, automating it, building it, and they had to have his GPU stood up, all these other things. And they went to their MSP and they're like, help. You know, we've got regulations. This can't sit somewhere on the cloud. I can't run this on my desk. I need to share it. And so the MSP, you know, they engaged us, but the conversation went kind of like this, like, wow, what you did saves you hundreds of hours a month, and you have 100 people you want to roll this out to. How do we do that? What does success look like? And we start talking through that. You know, is it saving 15 minutes, an hour? And you just get through building, like you said, that story, and you help them craft their own narrative of what success looks like. And then on the back end, you do a little bit of the AI magic, and you know that, you know, it's going to be things like traditional workflows. You know that it's going to be generative AI. You know that there's going to have to be a front end. You know that you're going to have to go through these things. And it feels like software development. It feels very bespoke, but it's not. You're able to reuse a lot of the same components. You're able to reuse a lot of the same learnings, and then you apply that story somewhere else. Grant writing is another example of that. I've not met an MSP that doesn't work with nonprofits in some way, shape, or form. And things like grant writing, where they can have more spend to achieve their vision, their mission, those are things that are repeated, and they have a voice, and they're exciting for people to get into. And you let them craft the narrative of what it would be like if they won 2 more grants, you know, worth 10 or 15 or 20% of their budget. And then apply that. It's incredibly powerful. I almost never talk about the AI itself. Almost never.
Yeah.
Man, well, it's incredible, because I mean, when you're going to, you talk earlier about that, or Adam, you mentioned that, like there has to be a change on the mindset of how we're going to be talking to clients, and those are the things that you know, we're not talking to them. It's like, oh, you have a problem with, you know, spam. Let's put this tool in there. So you're
right.
Right, but it's the conversation, the outcome, and with the impact that it's going to have in the client. And I think, you know, you're adding, you know, with Synthreo, you're providing another tool to our tool belt to make that conversation easy with the client, and not just like, what you just told me, it just sounds insane. Those 2 examples are, you know, you've been in this space for a long time. You know, someone will come and ask you to do that. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Now we always say, like, the possibilities are endless. So
Paul Dipple is going to yell at me because my sleek is going to go down when I do this. Right? Is the feeling, but it really it doesn't have to. Right? And I do think that it can't, as much as I've kind of leaned on, it's got to be a service, and you got to talk. People, they are excited. They do want. I love Keith. That's awesome. They do want to play with it. They do want the technology. They want something tangible. I'll tell you, I pushed back for the first year of our existence in having a mobile app or generating images. And I did so at our own peril, because the moment that I realized, oh, there's people out in the field that need access to this stuff, or when they're away, if they can get used to using you securely, and people use their mobile device. If you have an AI governance policy that doesn't include mobile, what do you think they're going to do when they're out and they need to take a picture of something? They don't have a scanner or something to have Claude look at it. It was things that I didn't think about because I didn't use it, right? Like I thought of everything as being digitized. But if I'm a lawyer going into a case briefing and I need a reminder of something that I used within Synthreo or Claude or anything else, and I'm sitting there in front of it, I'm not going to pull out my laptop. I'm going to need to do that. And it's like meeting them where they are and supplying the right technology does matter. It's actually part of the reason, and this is an area where John Hart and I agree again, is, I think that some of my partners, most of my partners don't just sell my products. They sell competing products. And for me, those are great prospects. But now I've become an expert in Copilot. My team has become an expert in Copilot. We're all Claude certified. We're ChatGPT certified. We Grok is kind of the dunce in the corner eating the glue, but you still have to know about these things. And so we become the experts from that side, because you guys have to eventually, but you can't all at once. You can't all at once, and that's not fair.
Excellent. This has been an awesome conversation. I know we're now wrapping up. So, Callen, I always appreciate it. I wish you well in this particular competition. I love seeing the journey. Love hearing about this stuff. We could talk literally all day about this, and just exciting seeing where the industry's going and morphing and changing and driving that success, and being part of the Central Mafia users group and experiencing that as well is really, really cool. And just because it's all talking about having real conversations, driving real business results. And that's going to help make that shift for your clients and help them grow and scale their particular business. So it's been a pleasure working with you here. And if you could, if you're not already part of Central Mafia Users Group, definitely check out centralmafiaug.com. And appreciate it, guys. Any closing thoughts? Juan?
I just appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully we can send Sean on vacation again and I can do this again.
Well, glad it's not us. It's Keith and his daddy's Amex.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's true. So Keith, please send him on all vacations. Send him to Disney. But no, Callen, always good to see you. One of the originals. Yeah, and congratulations on everything that you're doing, and your journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Callen, close us out. This is unique where I'm just going to let you close us out.
Awesome. What I would say is there are tremendous people throughout the entire PitchIT program. Look at my cohorts and take a look at it. Definitely come and look at us. I'm excited. We signed up for a half-day session for a pre-day. Would love at IT Nation for anyone to come and see us. It's down to kind of three different areas. So ping me on LinkedIn or Facebook or anything else, because we're either going to teach you how to sell end to end, teach you about the Claude wall, or if you really want to build agentically, we're going to spend a half day doing that. So thank you guys so much. Love this community more than anything, and look forward to moving forward with this program.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Enjoy. See you next week.
Right.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. See you guys.